let's come back to the dispatches from the front, since that's the part of your ministry I've been exposed to. What was your hope in creating that particular means of communication? What's the hoped for result or the desired result of doing that?
Yeah, it's a good question, because we really set out at the beginning to tell what God is doing in the world and to underscore the truth that the gospel works everywhere. I didn't want to produce these hour-long programs and people would see them and be just powerfully moved by what God is doing, and then at the end of it we make an appeal for money, like for $20 a month you can save a starving child. Mm-hmm. I just thought that would just cheapen the message of the gospel, which is the heart of the program. And also I didn't want to promote any particular organization. Sometimes an organization's logo or person may come and go in the program, but there's no emphasis on any particular organization, so that more people, more churches could look at this and rejoice in what God is doing. And so that's been the focus. It's really that the gospel works everywhere. And when we started the first one, I thought that would be it. I thought we'd just shoot one, and I'm not a filmmaker, but I do like to report on what God is doing and tell His stories. And Lord willing, we're going to release episode 9 in April. So He has truly helped us.
Well, as you have traveled around the world in the various ministry sites in your organization's realm, I would imagine that you run across a lot of moving stories, both sad and good and happy. What encourages you the most as you travel around and assess the spiritual needs in these various areas and what God is doing to meet those needs?
I think the thing that has struck me more and more is seeing the power of the presence of Christ with His people in all kinds of circumstances. To meet, for example, a dear brother in Latvia who, during the Soviet era, came to faith through listening to a radio broadcast. He had access to a short wave radio and heard the gospel and believed. But he never met another Christian for 7 years. And he was sustained by the presence of Christ in his life. He's a dear brother, and would later, when he first met the first Christian he ever met, he just embraced them like a big bear hug, because he had never connected. We don't really have a category for that. We just grow up and we know Christians and we go to church and we're surrounded with Christians. But to imagine going for 7 years and never meeting another Christian, it's just one powerful example of the presence of Christ with His people. Mm-hmm. And then I think also to see men and women who are truly willing to open their mouths and speak the gospel to their neighbors, to people going through crises, to their family members who may be very opposed to their faith. And it is Christ who gives them the courage to speak for Him, because He's with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. What do you see? Having now been in this for 25 years, you've seen a lot of changes, I'm sure, both geographically, politically, but also in terms of missions approach and theories. What do you see as the future direction of missions in the parts of the world that you're working in?
Well, I see an increasingly diverse mission force. A couple of years ago, I was in Brazil in a 100% Brazilian church. I was the first foreign speaker in their church in, I think, 24 years. It was a missions conference, and their missionaries were coming back from Angola and Mozambique and East Timor and the Amazon regions of their country. And it was just thrilling to see their missionary vision, and they're going. And we often think, at least here in the States, as Brazil being a country to send missionaries to. And it's not to say there aren't any needs there, to be sure. But it is thrilling to see that as Christ is calling men and women to himself from every nation, so he is also sending them out to every nation. I've seen men and women from South America evangelizing, planting churches, sharing the gospel in North Africa. You know, it's beautiful to see that growing, diverse mission force.